gears and talk about something that you may have read about earlier this week. There was a study that was published in the Journal of Sex Research, and it had to do with women that have worked in the adult film industry. And according to this study, they actually have a better quality of life than the women that they looked at in the control group. According to this article, they have a more positive outlook on life. They have higher self-confidence. They have higher levels of self-esteem. They have more positive feelings. They have more social support, more sexual satisfaction, and more spirituality compared to the matched group. Now, we have a guest on our line. Crissy is her name. Crissy, I want to welcome you to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. And I just want to thank you, Crissy, for taking time to come on the program. I know this takes a lot of courage on your part to do it because you had some experience in the adult film industry. You've come out of it. And so I just want to welcome you, Crissy, to Focal Point, and thank you for taking time and having the courage to come and chat with us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk, Crissy, first of all, before we get into your assessment of this study, what brought you out of the adult film industry? How did God bring you out of that and reorient your life trajectory?
Well, there were a lot of events that led up to me leaving. There were a lot of things I was reading online about other women in the industry, and I realized that I wasn't alone in a lot of what I was going through. And I was reading about online. There were porn gossip sites, and I was reading about women who were committing suicide and drinking. And I realized because I did isolate while I was in the industry, I realized that this was common in the industry, and so for about a year, those things were heavily on my mind. And when I decided to leave the industry, I made the choice because I had gotten my heart broken by my boyfriend at the time, and even though I was in the industry, I wasn't okay with him, looking at other women. And he had gone to a strip club, and at that point, I hit a rock bottom, and it really broke my heart because I wasn't working with men at the time. So whenever I made the choice to leave, I went on the set with him to a TV show that he was working on shortly after that, and somebody just talked to me about God and just asked me if I knew that he loved me, and I had been praying for a sign from him several days before, and I just knew that was the sign, and I accepted him into my heart and changed my life after that.
Now, you mentioned that you were on these sites where other women that were involved in the industry were kind of exchanging their kind of life experiences and life stories. And it sounds like that what you saw there, what you witnessed there, as they talked about their own experience, it doesn't remotely reflect what this Journal of Sex Research says life is like for those working in the adult film industry. I mean, you read this article and you'd think that the adult film industry was the greatest thing that ever happened to women. But what you discovered as you observed what other women were saying that were involved in it, that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, actually the site that I was looking at, it was the journalist that was either recording them on audio or just writing about his experience with them, and it was his blog, personal blog. And I actually knew some women in the industry that I kept in touch with, but like I said, I was very isolated. I didn't spend a lot of time outside of work with people, but I did keep in touch with people, throughout the years. I was in the industry for 6 years, so I do have friends and contacts in the industry. And yeah, I really think the study is not accurate, and I don't believe it.
Well, it says, and let me ask you just a couple more questions, Crissy, before I let you go. But this article says that those that work in that industry have higher levels of self-esteem, they have more positive feelings, and they have more spirituality than people outside the industry. So is that what you observed? Did the people that you observed or interacted with, did they seem to have just these exceptional levels of self-esteem and positive feelings about themselves, and did they seem to be more connected to God than people on the outside.
Definitely not. I mean, the women I knew in the industry and myself, there's a, false level of self-esteem when you're in the industry, and you have to sell that fantasy. So if you're going to ask people who are in the industry, or actually anybody how their self-esteem is, people, generally want people to think good of them. And I really don't think they didn't ask, enough people. They asked 177 people. There are 12,000 sex workers just in Los Angeles alone. So I don't buy it at all.
Well, it was interesting. I'm looking at this story on, where did I find this story? A Daily Mail in the UK discussing the content of this article. And it's striking as you get toward the end of the article. They never put this stuff up in front, but if you dig deep enough, you can find sort of balancing information. And here's a paragraph that says, in terms of their sexual history, the report found that porn actresses had more sexual partners, were more likely to be bisexual, and had become sexually active at a younger age, the average being 15 years compared to 17. And while the report challenged the stereotype of porn actresses as drug addicts, drug use was found to be more prevalent among the entertainers. So apparently there's a history, at least it's fairly typical for someone in this industry to become sexually active at an earlier age. I don't think anybody thinks that's a healthy thing. For them to have multiple sexual partners, which I don't think anybody thinks that's a real healthy thing, and sort of a disposition to drug use, which to me would be sort of an indication of the very opposite. I mean, people that have very positive feelings about themselves and about life don't need to resort to drugs. So even the study itself seems to have some information in there that would counter the impression they're trying to create.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, those things do not bring high self-esteem. I mean, that's just a fact. And also the study, one of the people behind, or the organization behind conducting the study, is AIM Healthcare Foundation, and they were the adult industry health clinic that people go and get tested. And right now they're closed down. So I don't know if they're that credible. So. Yeah, well, they closed down for their practices and things like that, so they got shut down.
Well, Crissy, I want to thank you for coming on, because what makes it very clear, from your experience and your observations firsthand, that this is not the lifestyle it's cracked up to be. This is a very misleading study. It's a very inaccurate study, even though it's published in a peer-reviewed journal called the Journal of Sex Research. A lot of reasons to question the rosy picture that it paints of the adult film industry. Well, Crissy, I want to thank you again for being with us. This is very helpful information, very helpful corrective, and just so grateful that God's gotten a hold of your life and set you on a new trajectory. And just may God bless you and fulfill every dream that you have for your life, and may he fulfill every plan that he has for your life.
Thank you so much.
All right, Crissy, thank you very much. And a website that is devoted to those that have come out of this industry is called iamatreasure.com. So go to iamatreasure.com, which is a website that's devoted to helping to profile women that are coming out of the industry and rediscover their real treasure and worth in God himself. Well, thank you again, Crissy, and God bless you.
Thank you.
So very helpful to hear some information from somebody that's actually been in the industry. I mean, it raises questions about everything that you read in that article. I mean, we're told that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread for women. And talking to someone that was a victim of that industry, you heard her say it herself, it's not at all what it is cracked up to be. Now, we are going to talk with Steve Inslee in the next segment. He is with American Family Online, and he's got a new mobile WebGuard product that his company is featuring. You're going to want to find out about this. And I kind of want to set the stage for the conversation I'm going to have with Steve. It follows on my conversation with Crissy, and it has to do with the devastating impact of pornography on teens, especially on teenage boys. I've got an article here, and I'll review this again after the break with Steve. This is one of the reasons why if you are a parent, you definitely, without question, want to listen to this next conversation. Be prepared to protect yourself, because a lot of 12-year-olds now to 17-year-olds have cell phones and other mobile devices, and they can access pornography on these devices. And I've got a story here I'm looking at from the Daily Mail in the UK that talks about the number of young boys under 13 that have been arrested for the crime of rape in the UK. Some as young as age 10. So they profiled, or they interviewed or surveyed 39 police departments. They're called forces, but 39 police forces. There's 39 different police departments in the UK. They surveyed 39 of them responded, and 31 out of the 39 that responded to their survey said that they had arrested children, boys, between the ages of 10 and 13 on suspicion of rape in the past year. And in every single case, exposure to hardcore pornography was a contributing factor. Focal Point, AF4 Talk. Back in 2 with Steve Hensley. Stay tuned.